everyone. Welcome to the spring update for Copernicus Productions. Hey there, everyone. Coming at you from the border of Colorado Springs and Manitou Springs. Copernicus's new headquarters. We've left Maryland, packed up the family, packed up the gear, and here we are in gorgeous Colorado. Let's talk about what we got going on. All right? Cool. Look at those ducks having a big old time on this nature trail. Aren't they cute? Certainly hope everyone has been having a wonderful time. It's been a while since I've checked in, but a lot has gotten done. Most of my time has been moving. However, the two movies I was working on, one is done. The other one's being released in scenes. And I hope you're enjoying it so far. Doing Busby by Burnkid is just, it's amazing. I love Busby Berkeley so much. And being able to VJ his footage to my own music is just like phenomenal. Hey there, everyone. So, on with the update. Like I was saying before, the classic combinations 8, 16, 32, that is all up and uploaded. Please go check it out on Alexandria and on Copernican Records over on Rumble. We've gotten episode 40 of the supplemental broadcast up, and episode 14. We're about to do 41 and 15 as soon as I'm done filming Busby by Burnkid. This is going to be the longest movie I've made so far, and I expect to have it done by the end of the month. I look forward to be podcasting again in June, probably. And I also would like to remind everyone, if you aren't following me for the YouTube Recommended Chronicles over on X and on Tumblr, it's wild, guys. The memes are banging, the videos are banging, the music is banging. Lots of knowledge. It's a DIY scrolling mystery school mixed with an infotainment channel. It is lovely. Lots of free movies, free entertainment, and free stuff that's really good for your brain. Philosophy, spirituality, all kinds of great stuff. So definitely come check me out. All of the links will be in the description box below. And once I'm done settling in, look for more exciting things coming in from Copernicus Productions. I'll see you later, everyone. Bye.
everybody. Welcome back for episode 5 of Bleepz and Bloopz and Oontz. Down-tempo edition. Trip-hop, down-tempo, future lounge. Yeah, we've got it right here. Let's have fun. everyone, for joining me once more for another edition of Bleepz and Bloopz and the Oontz. This time, primarily down-tempo, lots of trip-hop. Software used this evening was, I just did Launchpad tonight. I only used my mixer and my controllers, Hunter Hacks and the Western Pleasures. And I hope to see you next time. The next few editions, I'm going to be doing controllers only. Next time, we're going to come back and we're going to do hip-hop, but this time we're going to do boom bap. So can't wait to see you guys next time for Bleepz and Bloopz and the Oontz. Catch y'all later. Bye. Ptolemaic views, alchemical knowledge, banging beats. Okay, Copernicus. On today's episode, featured videos include today's bonus features include Hi there, everyone. Welcome to episode 40 of the supplemental broadcast here on Alexandria Alternative Media Broadcasting and OK Copernicus production. I'm your host, Jess, but you can also call me Epitome or Burnkid because I'm Epitome the Burnkid. Please be sure to follow the entire archival project, hashtag YouTube Recommended Chronicles, on X or Tumblr for the latest videos, music, memes, and more. Listen to the official soundtrack on SoundCloud. And if you're watching me on YouTube, please be sure to find me on Rumble should anything happen to this channel. All links discussed in today's episode can be found below in the description box. And please be sure to subscribe, like, share, follow, and tell a friend about the many things we cover in our program. For deeper dives on the more spiritual, esoteric side of the topics we cover, coupled with a hearty syllabus of phenomenal information in the form of YouTube videos, don't forget to check out my other podcast series, Pan Panen Pious Prophetic Ponderings. I would also like to take a little time to thank everyone who has supported OK Copernicus and all the projects I'm working on, and supporting all the music across all the major streaming platforms, listening to my tracks. I've released across many volumes of the Copernican Dispatch, with much more to come. A warm welcome indeed to my new and returning subscribers, followers, and viewers who are joining us on this wild journey of truth and apocalyptic enlightenment. I'm so happy to have you all back after a brief break to recharge, recalibrate, rebalance, and relocate as we continue to traverse the emerging complexities of the coming era. And on with today's featured video recommendations. Our first video today takes us to the Bohemian Grove with Two Old Dudes. That's the channel's name, not a personal opinion. Here's a little excerpt from their transcript. And I quote, "In today's episode, we ask, is there a place on Earth where the world's most powerful men participate in pseudo-sacrificial ritual at the foot of a giant owl? We're speaking of the Bohemian Grove Club. So like a curious traveler on a quest, we embark upon the winding roads of information, staying with us for a ride into knowledge. The super secret Bohemian Grove Club is in Sonoma County, California, and has been around since 1872. every year in June and July. Rumors about robed figures and ritual ceremonies run rampant. Doesn't help that 5 United States presidents have been members of the club since 1971. And end quote. And you want to know why we don't trust our government, really? Okay, that's cute. Now, on to our second video. This is another good one. 5D Reptilian Hive Mind Exposed. David Icke. 2026 Soul Farm Online. Matrix. What's it? Oh, Matrix Code Leaked is the title of the video, and As Within is the channel that is featuring that one. David Icke talks about Matrix Code in the latest video excerpt that released from the As Within channel. We're featuring here as our second video pick. He walks us through the epistemology of what the programming of the false matrix consists of, so that we might better be immune to all its ill effects. We were born to be alive. We were not born to be human batteries for insatiable energy harvesters who thought they could usurp the world by corrupting it with enforced usury systems and power dynamics. He puts it all together well in a concise presentation. And onto our third video, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy are responsible for this most informative video. They are going to introduce us to a book titled Transhumanist Genocide that I think we should all take a look at. From AI to 5G to weather modification, Doug and Stacy keep it real in hopes that those who need to get real about the seriousness of these topics have a better chance at getting real and preparing for the future. And just a little bit about Doug and Stacy. They're really cool. They have been living off-grid since 2010, and they share their lives on their YouTube channel. So if you're trying to make your way out of the default world, out of the matrix and off the grid, definitely check them out. They are really excellent. Our fourth video comes from Dr. James Lindsay at New Discourses and is titled DEI is Speaking Bitterness. One of the biggest unveilings I've experienced this apocalypse is the prevalence and prominence of black magic, spell work, root work, energetic projections, and manipulation being the primary means that any government's function is rendered. Fully illusory societies crumbling upon the knowledge of said illusions are a very real-world matter all of us should be preparing to tackle in the coming decades as this timeline story unfolds. Here's a little excerpt Dr. Lindsay left in his description box from episode 97, and I quote, "In Mao's China, the population was turned against itself through relentless campaigns known as speaking bitterness. Of course, this was prompted and forced by the communists, and it worked to their advantage by tearing apart the fabric of the communities they were, air quotes, transforming. We have been doing the same thing here in the West, primarily at work and in our schools under names like DEI training, unconscious bias training, social emotional learning, and broadly the term sensitivity training. In this episode of New Discourses Bullets, host James Lindsay gives us the original context for these disastrous trainings so that we can better be equipped to expose and stop them, because there's a lot of this going around. Bitcoin University is the channel providing our fifth video today, titled EU Preparing to Steal Your Stuff. Let's hop on over to that description box for more. And I quote, "As the EU attempts to deal with its massive debt, GDP levels, high taxes, money printing, and outright confiscation will all be used. Bitcoin as an exit from the fiat system will also be highly monitored and discouraged. A similar surveillance and confiscation state is also coming to the US and the UK. Will Trump come out in favor of digital IDs too? It wouldn't surprise me at all. All it would take is one big cyber attack or terrorist attack, real or false flag, to have every American sheeple begging for internet passports and a national ID. Nietzsche was right. The government is the coldest of all cold monsters. Everything the government says is a lie, and everything it has stolen. Preach, Nietzsche. Preach. That is so real. And why not end our main features with a little antiquated potty humor? Okay, not exactly. How about Tartarian toilets and more? Jared Boosters has us covered in his video titled Tartarian Toilets and the Antiquitech of the 19th Century. Paris, France, cast iron repurposed, 1865. Let me take you to a short word from Jared. He says, howdy y'all. Today we will look at a collection of photographs taken in Paris in the year 1865. The subject matter will be the multitude of cast iron and masonry structures being founded along the streets of the city during the early 19th century. Initially, before translating the titles for the images, I wasn't exactly sure what I was looking at. To me, it appeared to be intricate antiquitech, or ancient technology stationed outside the most major architecture. Yet once I began to translate the titles for the images, I was taken aback. Today, according to the current narrative, we are looking at some of the first public toilets in Paris installed directly into the streets. Most being installed with intricate cast iron lights, these structures truly appear out of place to me. The sheer magnitude of some of these cast iron and masonry creations is also worth note. A portion of the larger public water cabinets are multiple stories tall, and many of them also include cast iron domes. Could these 1865 photographs reveal more than we could expect about the true nature of Paris in the 19th century? Do these cast iron masterpieces look out of place to you? I'd love to hear all your insights and ideas in the comments. And that wraps up our main features. On to our bonus features. Our first bonus feature, and I want to just take a moment to give you a special note. This is a part of videos that I've been being featured on Pan Panen. So this is a channeling video, and you're going to find that it ties into the stories that we go over here on Supplemental Broadcast, because it's like a macro micro view overage of current events. The first video is coming in from Intuitive Heart with a story time, and it is titled, There is a Compilation of Evidence Connecting the Dots of Centuries of ... And just like we talked about the toilet antiquitech, this is the more on the spiritual side of what we see, the material side of things, the overlap of everything. It's truly fascinating. Our second bonus video comes in from Doug and Stacy Offgrid, and it's a warning about cell phones. Now you know. Go check that out for more tech safety. Our third video is Money is Broken, the truth about our financial system, and that comes in from the Channel Coin Bureau. Fourth up, from the channel Conspiracy Are Us, is Jehovah versus the Star Cities. Our fifth bonus feature, Why Socialism Can Never Work, the Why Minutes. And our sixth and final, and really, this one's a good one to watch, guys, especially if you considered those electric vehicles. Just take a peek at this video titled 8 EVs Self-Combust Daily, Shanghai Pudong Toll Station. And the channel for that is China Observer. And that leads us to my favorite part of the show, my auspicious op-ed. It's my little time to share some words that I composed with everyone. So let's get to it. This is going to be the first auspicious op-ed in the series of pieces dedicated to the topic of predictive programming embedded in retro cartoons and anime. And I'm titling this series Esoteric Predictive Programming Animated Retrospective. Yeah. And we are going to start with one of my favorites of all time under the category of super rewatchable picks. We're starting with Robotech. All right. So
The 1985 classic, known for its iconic transforming Veritech fighters, memorable characters, and all that space opera sci-fi saga goodness that is fun for all ages. So many themes embedded into this Japanimation classic to tell you about that are similar to what we've been experiencing in a similar time frame to what actually went on the show. Note, Robotech is an American series, but the animation comes from 3 separate anime series with their own stories that are not related in any way to the stories in Robotech. So we use the term Japanimation for this method where you add a new story to the edited post-production footage in lieu of just dubbing the Japanese series into English. So that's why we call this one Japanimation. Anyway, although I'll be, I will be linking everyone to the complete series in the description box. So please take note that although I'm giving you all of that, I do find that the book series by Jack McKinney is absolutely phenomenal, well worth the read. Let's go ahead and get into the most interesting highlights that relate to our experiences in this 21st century real world that has transpired before us. All right, so the first part of the series, known as the Macross Saga, begins with when an alien spaceship crashes down to Earth in 1999. That's the same year I turned 18. In the midst of a global civil war. The UN Spacey, which is very similar in spirit to our UN, implements the Robotech Defense Force after researching and refurbishing this alien technology for human use in warfare. The Zentradi aliens are a giant species of humanoids that do not reproduce like Homo sapiens, but instead they utilize cloning chambers and also have the ability to micronize in similar chambers to be human-sized. All of the alien species throughout the series share many characteristics with beings from our own real-world hidden history, such as Tartaria, Beyond the Ice Wall, or what other people call Antarctica, Atlantis, Lemuria, and so on. The power of love, music and frequency, and energy are an important overarching theme that aid in tying the 3 series together that were used to make Robotech. Ethics, morality, and discernment remain primary themes that drive the story, which is something that has been largely missing from this demographic of programming since the late 80s. Humans having to adapt to a wide array of challenging circumstances, oftentimes at the hands of their evil government officials, are handled mindfully with complexity and nuance. From civilian hostages in space to interspecies relations and the ethics of war to the ethics of love, much to ponder and contemplate emerges with each episode. While the Macross Saga mostly takes place in space during an intergalactic war, the second part of the series, known as Southern Cross or the Robotech Masters, takes place on a war-ravaged, militarily policed, globalized into one-world state. A new race of humanoid aliens and their clones are introduced that utilize frequencies to enforce their agendas, heal their soldiers, and employ a type of eugenics on the peoples created and modified via melodically induced mind control from highly advanced militarized musical equipment. Complex topics regarding loyalty, war, governance, and obedience are highly prevalent throughout the middle of the series. The meaning of life and what is truly worth fighting for continue to unfold with each storyline. Instances of nepotism, despotism, and corruption also increase as ethics and morality tend to drive the plot twists of this show. The real racism between different humanoids, contrasting the many instances of cooperative relations and harmony between others, allow the viewer to see that regardless of humanoid type, it takes all kinds to make the world what it is. The world that we're currently living in most parallels this part of the series in regards to what our governments wish they could get away with, pertaining to our treatment as citizens. This part of the series also ends with a worldwide invasion and bombardment similar to the Macross Saga, before progressing into the final chapter of the original series known as the New Generation. The New Generation shows us a world that I would expect to see after a seriously cataclysmic event sends modern society into a new dark age of sorts. When I think of what I expect towns or cities to look like after the pole shift, micronova, and mud floods, this part of the show really delivers. Another alien race, known as the Invid, are the primary nemesis for our heroes, but very sketchy townspeople and leaders are wherever populated sectors have formed. Sentience, perseverance, resource management, and survival in a harsh environment are the topics that stand out the most. While love, friendship, and freedom are very important themes, they really do develop in a much deeper sense with this group of main characters that are featured in this part of the series. If this sounds like something you'd like to check out, I'll be linking the movie Robotech 2: The Sentinels as well, which is where the characters from the Macross saga are back in space with the Robotech Expeditionary Force, while Southern Cross and New Generation from the original series are actually happening. So they're basically parallel. To enjoy the Sentinels, make sure to check out Jack McKinney's novels, and if possible, track down copies of the out-of-print comics by the Waltrip brothers that were printed by multiple publishers back in the 80s and 90s. And Robotech Art Volume 3 also is all about the Sentinels. So if you are into that, or if you're so inclined, those are pretty fun. I've found much of these online and in comic stores alike. And that wraps up today's show. I'd like to take a moment and introduce our musical selection by me, EpitomeTheBurnkid. This one's called Downfall of Davos Man. It's really great. I got a link for you down in the description box for the SoundCloud. And thank you so much for being with me for another show. Make sure, if you haven't already, to come on over and follow me on Tumblr or on X. And make sure to come on over and say hi on SoundCloud too. That would be really great. I like to tell you guys every time, oh wow, my cats are running around. Okay, so, super distracted. Okay, I have to actually cut out of here. Anyways, new phrase. We have a slogan now at OK Copernicus Productions. So I'm just gonna close with our new phrase. All right, Ptolemaic vibes, alchemical knowledge, bangin' beats, OK Copernicus. All right, I hope to see you guys next time for another installment of Supplemental Broadcast. Bye, everyone. Hi there, everybody. EpitomeTheBurnkid back after a nice little break to relocate. Welcome to my new studio home here in Manitou Springs, Colorado. Packed up the family, moved from Maryland, if you caught the update and last supplemental broadcast, and relocated to the mountains and absolutely loving it. So I hope everyone had a really good break. As promised, I am back with episode 15, titled Giants, Tartaria, and the Gateways to Hidden History. I have a wonderful video syllabus for you this evening, and I also have some website links for some concepts and all that we're going to go over in the program today. So I'd like to welcome everyone back, all of my returning and new viewers. Thank you so much for coming back. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, let a friend know about what's up, because we learned some pretty cool stuff on this program. Welcome back. And let's go ahead and start with just some major points, and then we're going to go into a little introduction regarding Tartaria and go through some sources. and go over the syllabus with everyone and let you go with some ideas and stuff to go off and research and learn about. We're going to have a good time. So let's go ahead and start with some major points. So when we are going to just go over some keywords or your kind of hashtag sort of words that are going to stand out for major points regarding Tartaria are Reset Wars, Orphan Trains, Cabbage Patch Kids, Giants, the Millennial Kingdom, Secret Societies, Hidden History, the Carrington Event, Aliens and UFOs, World Wars and Civil Wars, Capitalism, the Modern Era, the Medieval Era, the Exploration Era, and the Renaissance Era, which I am further and further convinced was a psyop. End of story, but we'll get into that later on in the program. Systems changes, dates, and numerology, Moorish America, and like, really, what are they hiding and why? So those are some major points when looking at the basics of overall what is this Tartarian conspiracy or empire, civilization, architecture. What is all of this all about, and why did it suddenly get like erased from the history books and everything sometime like in the 1800s, when this was a very long-standing worldwide global civilization that multiple people like dug up and overhauled and usurped and tried to claim as their own, would appear the story goes. So let's go ahead and get into our first source about, let me set my notes down for a moment, about 10 compelling reasons why Tartaria may have been hidden from history. So I'm going to go over the main 10 points and the sub-points as we go on down the list. This is from the website TartariaEmpire.com. So reason number 1 is to maintain the colonial narrative. Modern history promotes the idea that Western powers civilized the world. The existence of a global advanced civilization in Eurasia before Western colonization completely disrupts that storyline. Acknowledging Tartaria would mean admitting that Western powers destroyed something that was already highly sophisticated both culturally and technologically. Number 2, because Tartarian technology was too advanced. From free energy towers and massive bells to cymatic healing and harmonic buildings, the old world's technology seems to have been based on sound, frequency, and sacred geometry. If this knowledge were rediscovered, it would undermine modern energy monopolies and expose the limitations of today's science. Number 3, to erase evidence of a unified global culture. Ancient cities across the world, from India to Mexico, Russia to Australia, show similar architecture, symbols, and sacred designs. The idea that these were independent developments is pushed hard, but Tartaria suggests a different possibility, a single interconnected global civilization. Number 4, because star forts and cities don't fit the timeline. The star forts, geometrically perfect, astronomically aligned, and globally distributed, exist in places where no military need for them is recorded. These structures hint at pre-flood or pre-reset knowledge of energy grids, not simple defensive forts. Their existence raises serious questions about who built them, when, and why. Number 5, to hide the mud flood catastrophe. Many believe that around the 1800s, a global catastrophe, possibly involving liquefaction or energy weaponry, buried entire cities under mud. Buildings with visible subfloors, half-buried entrances, and missing construction records support this. Acknowledging the mud flood would mean accepting a recent reset far more devastating than we've been told. Number 6, to suppress ancient knowledge of free energy. Domes, antennas, copper wiring, and spires on old buildings weren't just decorative. They may have collected ambient etheric energy similar to Tesla's theories, but if energy could be free, entire industries would collapse. Number 7, because religious power was at stake. Tartarian cathedrals and buildings are often aligned to the heavens, structured with sacred geometry and filled with symbols not exclusive to any one religion. The Vatican and other dominant religious institutions have had every reason to suppress a culture that unified science and spirit outside of dogma. Number 8, to control the human origin story. Accepting Tartaria would force a rewrite of human history, suggesting advanced pre-reset civilizations existed long after the last supposed Stone Age. That destroys the Darwinian linear model of human evolution and calls into question everything about our origins. Number 9, because it would expose the orphan train agenda. The empty cities phenomenon seen after the reset was followed by the forced movement of orphans across America, Europe, and Australia. These children, often nameless and without family, were used to repopulate areas emptied by the disaster. Who raised them? What were they told? And whose cities were they really living in? And number 10, to keep you disconnected from your power. In the end, hiding Tartaria isn't just about covering up buildings or empires. It's about erasing your connection to a more powerful, more harmonious past. A world where architecture healed, energy flowed freely, and people lived in balance with the earth. The conclusion is a history worth rediscovering. Tartaria wasn't just a place, it was a paradigm, one where architecture, energy, and spirituality merged, where cities vibrated with harmonic resonance, where history flowed differently. The silence surrounding Tartaria isn't accidental, it's strategic, and that silence is breaking. So that was our first source with the 10 main reasons from TartarianEmpire.com. The next site I'm going to give you some information from is called TartariaBritannica.com. And the two sections I'm going to read from are titled Buried Cities, Forgotten Structures, and Patterns of Erasure. So, if Tartaria was merely a misunderstanding, a relic of outdated geography, there would be little reason to continue asking questions. But across the realm, there are architectural anomalies that point to a far more complex past than what we have been taught. Consider the grand buildings of the 19th century, the so-called Beaux Arts, neoclassical, and Baroque structures that seem to appear fully formed in a historical blink. Many of them, we are told, were constructed in impossibly short time frames with rudimentary tools, yet they rival modern architecture in complexity and durability. Some curiously show signs of having been repurposed rather than originally built by the civilizations that claim them. In several cases, these buildings appear to have been excavated rather than constructed, as if they had been buried under layers of earth before being rediscovered. The phenomenon of mud flood buildings, structures partially buried with windows and entire floors beneath street level, raises further questions. While mainstream explanations attribute this natural shifts in the landscape, the sheer scale of these buried buildings suggests something more deliberate. Why do so many cities across Europe, Russia, and the Americas have architecture that appears to predate recorded settlement, only to have been partially submerged in earth? And now we're moving on to the next section, patterns of erasure, and then we're going to go to our final source. And here we go. History is written not just by victors, but by those who control narratives. Over the centuries, great fires, world's fairs, and urban renewals have provided convenient opportunities to erase and rebuild. The Great Fire of London in 1666. Remember how I said numerology? Keep note of the numbers that go through this topic as you go through it. It's a good idea. The fires that swept through American cities in the 19th century and the mysterious destruction of entire districts in European capitals all led to rapid reconstruction efforts. You know how I said the Renaissance was a psyop? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, just saying. What was lost in these events? What was built over, altered, or removed from historical memory? The pattern repeats itself across continents. Remember how I mentioned Moorish America? You know, Moorish America is pre-exploration, right? Just saying, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Buildings that should not exist in the time frame they are assigned to. You know, there's like a Sphinx in the Grand Canyon and like other Egyptian things. Just a little, you know, pointing you to the direction of, I don't think they're telling us the truth whatsoever. Urban layouts that suggest older foundations beneath modern streets, a suspiciously uniform approach to historical preservation that favors reconstruction over investigation. It is not that we are looking at a single lost empire, but rather at a series of resets, periods where history was rewritten to fit a new narrative. A narrative like a false matrix, like, you know, the thing that New Earth is supposed to fix. So, yeah, that. And why this matters, finally. The questions surrounding Tartaria are not just about whether an empire was erased. They point to a much larger issue. The way history itself is managed, altered, and controlled. If entire civilizations can be forgotten, if their contributions can be reassigned or buried, what does that say about our understanding of the past? The true nature of Tartaria may never fully be uncovered, but that is not the point. What matters is recognizing that history, as it has been presented to us, is not a flawless record. It's actually, history is technically a social science, and all science is technically a pseudoscience, because all science is based on very, very, very highly flawed theories that are literally oversimplified reductionist notions that the material dialectic and particle physics agenda permits. But we'll get into all of that on another episode. I don't want to throw all that into the Tartaria episode. That's entirely too much. Back to the script. There are holes, contradictions, and deliberate omissions. What else has been removed? What else have we been told is impossible simply because the official narrative has no place for it? I've been told colonization technically infers that we are all owned, bought, and funded by secret societies' money and usurps. My understanding is a lot of what we've been told is simply to literally have us consenting and going along with an agenda that no one should have ever consented to begin with. But that has to do with stuff beyond the ice wall. We'll get into that in future episodes, though. History leaves its traces, even when it is rewritten. The architecture we inherit tells a story that doesn't always match the official records. The question is, are we willing to see it? And now we're going to pop over just so we can get to the origins of this. Now I've moved over to historydefined.net. And this is the subtitle here is Origin of the Tartaria Conspiracy Theory. Like I said, all science, all social science, any science, all science technically is pseudoscience. Everything has been that we currently have founded has been based upon false, doctored, manipulated principles that are designed to control and subdue the public at large and make it seem like more trouble than it's worth to fight for and stand up for the truth and for other ways of living. So they've chosen to stigmatize a lot of things like the Tartarian conspiracy, claiming the roots in Russian pseudoscience. Well, you just heard my opinion about science, so I digress. Let's move forward. Mentions of Empire of Tartaria first appeared in Russian conspiracy theorist Anatoly Fomenko's New Chronology. Nikolai Levashov later spread his work around in his Racial Occult History. if you watch the last episode of Pan Panen with the tarot thing and the thing that was done to me and, you know, the other light workers, grid workers, chosen ones, 144K, who were marked for human sacrifice, this goes into this racial occult history, this usurping that this particular group does. And my understanding is these guys are of the scaly bunch and of the gray bunch. But, you know, I don't really want to go into that here too far. This led to a belief that Russia was Tartaria, whose real origins were covered up by the West. Well, that's kind of ludicrous. We sort of know better than that. Later, the Russian Geographical Society debunked all these claims, said that that's just some weird extremist fantasy. I'm going to go ahead and agree with that for the sake of mention. Oh, pop-up ad, why must you? I'm filming right now. All right. Very good. Okay, so the talk about the Tartarian Empire seemingly fizzled out until 2016. Did you notice a lot of weird stuff started happening around 2016? I don't know about you, but I noticed things got real funny and society started moving funny, and things have really never been the same since. But back to the story. When it started to appear online on various YouTube conspiracy theory channels and eventually gained ground in 2017 when it began to pop up on Facebook, Reddit, and other social media channels. However, this theory deviated from its Russian origins and became an architectural conspiracy regarding the buildings and what have you that they dug up from these mud floods that they're, you know, these mud floods are a precursor to like the Earth disaster cycle, and they are a part of the Earth disaster cycle if you're over following suspicious observers. I have a more Ptolemaic view of matters, but to understand it from a what I would call a mainstream science perspective, please go on over there and watch all the stuff they have going on. They're really good. I'll put a link in the profile so you can like tie those ideas together. Oh yeah, back to the script. According to the proponents of this theory, Tartaria was a giant race of technologically superior beings. Remember how I mentioned giants? Yes. And there's a lot of photographic evidence of this too from the black and white era, who existed on Earth long before we came into the picture, and this actually makes a lot of sense evolutionarily speaking. Not the fake evolution, but the real evolution of how this like narrative like got constructed. Some even suggest that we devolved from them after the great flood of mud. I'm here to tell you there were several great floods of mud, and this has happened with several different species of humanoid, unfortunately. This flood was responsible for wiping them and most of their technological innovations out, leaving only remnants of their architecture. So, yeah, that is the main overview that I have for everyone. And now I'm scrolling right now to the great cover up. Okay, so basically, most of the modern world, if you've noticed, all basically have the like same kind of buildings, especially laid out in certain places in certain areas. You're going to notice these patterns, and you'll also notice that these buildings, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't believe the people of today could construct these buildings if they tried. I don't believe they're talented enough. I don't believe they know how to work with the materials. I don't believe they, I actually don't believe any modern builders could do what they want to claim was done in the 1800s. It's really far-fetched. Let me get my notes real quick. I had a few concepts that I wanted to cover with this before I go over the syllabus. Okay, so the first one I want to cover a little bit is the medieval the exploration and the Renaissance narratives being complete psyops, I want to tie this concept into the Millennial Kingdom, Satan's little season, and how that's ending right now. Apparently the firmament's going to go out, the ice wall's going to come down, the sky's going to become fire, the continental drift is going to drift right quick, there's going to be mud floods, mega tidal waves. This is what like buried Egypt and other places. This is what has shifted continents around. This is what's caused mass extinctions in the past. And the reason that they want to cover up these historical I guess these facets of history, these other narratives, and defining these certain eras and things, is they want to literally rein in the knowledge and only link it to what they can reproduce and what they can somehow manufacture what I would call a mathematical understanding of. And if they're incapable of doing that, they literally try to erase the evidence, dismiss it as mythology, dismiss it as, just sort of a whim or what someone's idea. They want to dismiss anything that they cannot control. You'll notice that this trend, even if you read the history, I was a history major and philosophy major. If you go through and read history as they want you to learn history, especially, at the college level, you can sort of see that it's a little bit too systematic, it's a little too convenient, and it stays within a certain set of parameters that, in my opinion, would de facto render it a pseudoscience, because you're not accepting any and all data to go over your recorded history. You're picking and choosing, you're giving certain precedence to some voices over others, and most of the voices given precedence to are moneyed voices. And as we've discussed on prior episodes of the program, money's black magic. People go around with money and hypnotize people and get people to do things they would never do if they were not hypnotized and like being emotionally manipulated and mind controlled with money, scarcity tactics, and all these other techniques that these weirdo secret societies have like taught people and have misguided them. And when we look at how long does this repeat story go, I'm here to tell you, as a fractal of source, as a conduit of source, there's a disaster cycle, because apparently the inhabitants of this realm have a little problem with technology, money, and both of those things are technically magic, okay? They also have a problem with communication. Communication is also magic. These people apparently are very good at making things go extinct, and even sinking continents like Atlantis and Lemuria and other places that no longer exist, because they get out of hand with communication, technology, and money. By the way, all of these are man-made things. All of these, technically speaking, are of unlimited abundance if we were so wise as to see things for what they truly are and not play the games that this matrix has tried to condition from almost birth to create a false social contract, which, by the way, is a very faulty theory in political philosophy and doesn't really hold much weight. Why they think it's reality, I could not tell you. But I digress. The narratives regarding exploration and all these advancements that happened at those times, that was usurping, guys. And then they, the other idea that I want to tie along with this is I'm going to redefine a new set of parameters, okay, to understand race theory as they tried to cover it up. All right, so I'm here to talk about this is my new theory. Sit down. So let me try to give you a little something straight from the I guess my downloads combined with my logic and reasoning and my analysis. I'm going to give you an epistemology of a race theory. It's three-tiered. All right. So first, and I'm going to tie it all to this, I swear to you, is natural racism. All right, that's theory number one. And natural racism is what Spanish racism, or I'm going to call it 1600s racism, was designed to cover up. Theory number 2 is artificial racism, all right? I'm not saying it isn't real. I'm saying it's artificially imposed. It's not innate. It's not coming from a primal place within. I am stating that natural racism is coming from a primal place within. I'm going to go into why in a little bit, but let's just start with those ideas, natural and artificial. And then the third idea happens when these two ideas combine, right? Okay, and the third idea is called mega racism. And when mega racism gets going, you start seeing slavery, genocide, extreme environmental destruction, wars, you see a lot of crazy things happen that are trying to, I guess, distract us all from what's really happening at that time. And it all ties into this mud flood and cover up. So let me start with natural racism and how that relates to 1600s racism, how artificial racism relates to 1800s racism. For everyone American, understands American history, we're going to be talking about the one drop rule regarded for 1800s racism, whereas the Spaniards race chart from the 1600s, we're going to talk about how that is going to cover up natural racism, because that's more of what that is about, especially with like the disappearance of the Olmecs and other peoples that vanished without a trace. We got to really look into this and use our noggins for what they're trying to not tell us. And mega racism, when these two concepts combine, that's when you get the last time we saw mega racism, and I'm going to say most recently the last time we saw mega racism is the two main groups are going to be what I am going to dub communist, socialist, anarcho-confused peoples in general. All of those movements are the last one that I've seen mega racism come out of. I've also seen it come out of extreme Islam. I've also seen it come out of the CCP. Before then, instances where we would look at mega racism and we can clearly point it out, we would be looking at like Napoleon, we would be looking at like Mao, we would be looking at World Wars 1 and 2. These appear to be cover-ups for these ideas. So let me go ahead and start with natural racism and Tartaria and giants. All right. Natural racism is something that is within different humanoid species inside of us, primally, where we respond to humanoids who don't match the characteristics, the vibes, the auric fields, all of that. We can tell it's not the same species as us, but they've tried to cover up all of this knowledge, basically. Like a good example of covering up all of this is like during exploration, when they're going around and they're like finding all this stuff and they're meeting all these new people and there are all these like genocides and there's all these like bones of giants left behind. This is clear instance of natural racism, where one species of humanoid approaches another species of humanoid, something in them goes off, and boom, you have natural racism, all right? Artificial racism, which we're gonna say, we're gonna call it 1800s racism as well, is racism where people who are, I guess, of a majority, people of a majority are going to literally arbitrarily and artificially set their own parameters regarding what is and is not a race, what constitutes counting and not counting. There is nothing primal or instinctual about this. Artificial racism is calculated. It's normally for an economic strategy. It's normally not even about racism. It's literally about being advantageous and finding any and all excuses, right down to inventing the current mainstream notions of race, which, if it were actual racism, like not artificially imposed by I guess authority figures or what have you. There would be something instinctual about this. It wouldn't be a strategy. It wouldn't be some devised way to propel or expand your society. It wouldn't even, that would serve absolutely no purpose. So mega racism is when these things like combine. Mega racism is when we start looking at secret societies, we start looking at religious sects, we start looking at the Inquisition, we start looking at the witch trials, we start piecing together a lot of these other components where natural racism and artificial racism seem to combine. And over the ages, there are far less different species of humanoid than there were, right down to the point that you can see that certain continents are shaped like the humanoids they are literally made of from other cataclysms from eons past. So, yeah, to pull all of that together, these mud floods and cover-ups, because these mud floods happen on cycles and they happen randomly, and the last civilization to be taken down was the Tartarian one. All the areas that this happened to, and the areas happen to be around riverbeds and ley lines, which is, you know, where a lot of people have gone to settle, or dare I say usurp their settlement when they discovered new land. It wasn't as new as they want to pretend that it was. So to cover up all these notions, they start crafting these other narratives just to get people not to ask questions, just to get people not to investigate further, and for no one to hold accountability, and so that they maintain a absolutely grotesque amount of power. And the most common places that you can really see the clearest examples of this are the Western world. France, the US, Germany all have a lot of historic sites where you can see the mud flood evidence very clearly. And if you piece it all together, it's, you know, going to kind of come out like I told you. You're going to start seeing, oh, so they don't want us to know that this is just a thing. They don't want us to know maybe we should live another way. They don't want us to know maybe you shouldn't put a power plant there. Yeah, they don't want us to really know or investigate the truth about this. They want to dismiss everything as pseudoscience, myth, urban legend, conspiracy theory, insert slur here. And this is just what they do. And my other point now. So the this all ties into the Earth's natural cycle disaster cover-up, which I will have links in the thing for you to go look at more on that. And this is basically the secret society's linchpin to controlling their matrix empire entirely off of lies and illusion that are indoctrinated, instilled, and legislated as requirements, while trying to convince you that you must uphold this under the guise of some social contract that you didn't even get to read, let alone sign or consent to. It's a bit absurd if you ask me. And for other fun views, fun on this, definitely go check out the last auspicious op-ed I did on Robotech. It very much ties into the themes here about Tartaria. And the next op-ed I'm about to do on the next supplemental broadcast is going to be on Bubblegum Crisis, which is going to give us another different cybernetic, more transhumanist view of this same deal, because let's be real, Mega Tokyo is hyperbole for post-cataclysm. Japan ain't Japan no more, is it? Yeah. So we're gonna like tie all of that stuff in there. So I hope that you got some good ideas and some info out of this to start further research about Tartarian hidden history. You're gonna find Tartaria is a lot like Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, like other places, Shambhala, Agartha, places that are no longer spoken about, but you go back into old Renaissance writings and it's well documented, but people want to tell you those people didn't know what they were talking about. Those people thought the earth was flat. And, you know, like other things like that, shaming and trying to gaslight, use black magic and spell work to trick you into believing a false history, a false economy, false governmental system, false legislation. If you are not following the YouTube recommended chronicles, that is the sister component to this show on X and Tumblr, please do while we're here. Because a lot of the memes and stuff have to do with Tartaria, hidden history, and the like. So yeah, let me go ahead and get you into the syllabus links so that you know what to look forward to. And I will send everyone on some merry studies. I'd like to thank everyone once again for being here with me. And let's go ahead and get on into the syllabus links. The Remains of Giants by Gabriel Dragonerescu. Well, that title cut off. But The Remains of Giants. White Giants of the New World by Robert Sepper. The Great Tartarian Empire by Robert Sepper. The Crisis of Tartaria by Lucius Aurelian. Solomon, the First King of Tartaria. Tales of the Old World. Forgotten History of Tartaria and the Old World, Lucius Aurelian. The Crisis of Tartaria. Oh, that one doubled. Whoops. Okay, so we got that. Okay. This Bible shows our reality is false, the biggest cover-up of all time. Billy Carson on Anunnaki, alien gods who created the first ... Tartarian toilets and the Antiquitech of the 19th century by Jared Boosters. Tartaria Conference 2025, hosted by Elizabeth Hancock. What Happened to All the Adults? Interview with Richard Vobes. A Little Season in New York City on the channel My Lunch Break. Finding Tartaria from My Lunch Break. History That Has Been Hidden, another interview with Richard Vobes. Tartaria Explained Supercut Old World from Ancient Historia. Tartaria, The Lost Science of Sacred Power by Jane 108 Academy. Tartaria Healing Frequencies. This is not music extremely powerful to try out some sonics. Tartaria Healing Vibration Tones and Power of Ancient Bells from You Create Reality. Tartary in San Francisco, oldest photographs from 1860 to 1869. Fort Ross and The Gold Rush by Jared Boosters. The Knights of Tartaria. And just for fun, I did a couple of songs titled Tartaria. They're pretty good. They're down here too. And some music videos. Those are pretty excellent as well. But anyway, that is all I have for you to get your feet wet on Tartaria and to tie it into the other concepts of the show. If you've made it with me this far, thank you so much for being here. If you are entirely unaware of what Pampanen prophetic pious ponderings are, basically I'm here to just inform you. I am all three. I am religious, a spiritual, and a theological person. And this show is a sister podcast to the Supplemental Broadcast and the YouTube Recommended Chronicles. This deals with the more spiritual side of the stories that we cover. And it's from a perspective influenced by my religious, spiritual, and theological beliefs. So just to let my newcomers know real quick what all of that is, because it's been events that I've told everyone. My religious beliefs are a big hodgepodge of Buddhist, Taoist, Abrahamic, pagan, neo-pagan, indigenous, and other ancient belief systems. What I've learned from all of that I find beneficial and to be true, and that checks out when tested. While spiritually, I am a pantheist. everything is all parts and components of God. God simply is, and we are a part of that experience. And my theological beliefs are panentheist. I believe that there is a spark of God inside of all of us, if we so choose to foster that spark and further its potential in this world, and what the divine can do through us as conduits of the divine, especially if you're from one of the major communities that I try to serve, which is light workers, chosen ones, 144K, grid workers, people who are here for New Earth, and also all of the people from the more secular truth, freedom, and sovereignty movement. It's helping them get their feet wet in these more spiritual ideas, more outer worldly ideas and concepts. So again, I'd like to welcome you to the show. You will be able to find the soundtrack for this episode, which I'm actually about to go make. So fun. Over on my SoundCloud, the links for everywhere you can find me, all of the sources used for the show, and all of the videos this were used for the script and syllabus. I'll have all of that for you in the description box. I'd like to thank everyone for being here again, and welcome to our new set as we get settled in, and I look forward to seeing everyone on episode 16. I am not sure what we're doing for episode 16 just yet, but I'm thinking we're going to start approaching this concept that I got a download about through the videos this week in the YouTube Recommended Chronicles. It's come to my attention that these dark forces types, that they like absolutely hate beauty, love, happiness, you know, all that is good, all that is worth living for. And all this like brutalist architecture and going around and making everything ugly, and like all the shows on like TV like are like ugly and sad, and like the movies are like ugly and sad, and like the music is like ugly and sad, and like all of it's like intentional because it's all like a weird form of black magic and like a psyop to try to maintain social control and invoke a trance via like mass formation psychosis and like other principles of dark psychology utilized through media and other like technological sources to indirectly impose it onto the populace and have them, you know, incidentally accept it as normal, like, you know, given uninformed like indirect consent. But we will get into that next time. Thanks again for being here. I hope I did not ramble entirely too long. I hope you have fun learning about Tartaria. We have a new slogan for OK Copernicus, so here it is. Ptolemaic vibes, alchemical knowledge, bangin' beats, OK Copernicus. I like to wish you all adieu, and keep on being excellent, keep being awesome. We need it more than ever, because boy, do we have some interesting stuff going on out there as this little season comes to an end, and we are ready for the new Earth to come shining on in. See you next time, guys. Bye.